Hello kiddos, welcome back to my channel. My name is Edgar and on today's video we're going to be talking about books that you can talk about if you are on a date. Last week we were talking about guilty pleasures, so books that basically you will avoid by being on a date or like being in some place where you have to interact with other people and try or pretend to be smart. But on today's video we're going to be talking about the ones that you have to mention. So if you're ready, let's do this. Okay, it can happen. Yes, your friend might be pushing you, like, come on, you have to go back to the world of dating, you have to put yourself out there. Then you download Tinder, then yes, you find out yourself on a date. And while you are in there, while you're eating, while you're having something with that person that you are trying to understand, you find out that he or she likes to read. And then they ask you, what is your favorite book? What happens with that, like I think it happens with like most of the things, that actually someone asks you like, what is your favorite color? And you don't know, you cannot even think of colors, you cannot think of anything. So with books, it kind of like happened the same. I've been in a situation when someone asks me, what is your favorite book? And you're like, I literally have no idea. Even if you have been reading, you have no idea. So here comes a few recommendations. The first book that I will recommend is actually to talk about a classic. The things about the classics is that they're actually there for a reason. They become classics for a reason. And because we are in the topic of love and you're trying to meet someone, I actually would recommend to start with. It's a really good author that if you haven't heard about and you actually like to read, you should check it out. She has a lot of books that they're mostly romantic novels, but they're the good type. So not the ones that you're going to feel guilty to talk about because they're too cheesy, because they have toxic relationships in the middle. It actually talks about different topics. Of course, it was a different moment in the one that she was writing. And the way that it covers them is actually super nice. And you might be thinking, okay, which one? Okay. Relax. The one that I will start with is Little Women.
And now, Rach, these little women.
Yeah.
How little are they? I mean, are they like scary little?
Just because it's something simple, it's something that we all heard about, so it doesn't require like too much investigation. It's basically the story about these sisters that each one of them, they have their important role in the family. They fall in love. One of them is pursuing a career as a writer in a time where women didn't write, and how it has been a topic that's been going through the ages. One of them has to think if she prefers to have a career or to actually go with her love. And this whole thought process that she had in her mind is very beautifully done. So I would totally recommend you to read it, as I say. And it won't request further investigation and you will look smart and kind of like also like a nice person. What inspired this video was actually because my friend, she went on a date very recently. And when she was on a date, she asked the guy that she was seeing what book he likes. He said Lolita. Lolita is a very controversial book, so it's not something that you will mention at that stage. Don't mention it in a first date. Too heavy topic, too controversial, and if you told me that that's your favorite book, I would just stand up and leave.
Oh, okay.
Basically, the point of dating is to meet people that are going to be interesting. So the first date is the moment when you're going to realize if this person is compatible to you. If further on you have another talk, if you have things in common. So another book that I would recommend is a book that I actually love. It's Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. Jon Krakauer was a journalist. He has written a couple of books that are about topics that happen in reality. One of them is Into Thin Air, and the other one is Into the Wild. Into the Wild is about the story of this guy that is Chris McCandless, who changed his name for Alexander Supertramp. He decided to leave all the materialistic things that he has in his life and start this journey to Alaska. And the book basically covers how he realizes that the most important things in life are not attached to materialistic things. I think if you like to travel or if the other person likes to travel, this is a very nice conversation starter. It's something that will bring all the values that you have to the table. What I love about this book is that it talks about the things that this guy learned during that trip. It's the way that this guy realized that all the things that his family teach him, and actually like society in general, it's asking from him, like all the goals that we're meant to achieve, like having a family, having a kid, or like, are not things that I'm criticizing at all, but the way that the book covers all these things and how this person realizes that it's not about what they tell you that you have to achieve, but what you want to achieve and how you have to set up the goals for yourself. And as a companion for the book, I would totally recommend you to watch the movie and to listen to the soundtrack.
And I also know how important it is in life not necessarily to be strong, but to feel strong.
to measure yourself at least once, to find yourself at least once in the most ancient of human conditions, facing the blind, deaf stone alone, with nothing to help you but your hands and your own head.
It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. It's one of those movies and one of those books one of those albums that I have read, hear, and watched a lot of times. I realize how much more I have to stay connected with my own self, with my own values. I love it, as you can say, and it's a great conversation starter. The other book that I will recommend you to talk about, it's another classic, and that would be Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, yes, you'll think like, can you think of more of a cliche? Actually, no, I can think of better ones. But the thing about To Kill a Mockingbird is that it's a beautiful story that it's very cohesive on the time that it was happening. It's basically the story that happens in the 1950s when this black man, is put on trial just because he is accused of something that he didn't do. And the way that it portrays racism, values, and family, it's very to the point. It's one of my favorite books of all time. If you haven't, you have to read it. As I said before, like if you are actually a reader, please read these books because it would be like great to talk about with someone that actually likes to read. Otherwise, take these comments that I'm giving to you and try to use it for your own benefit. On a date, you can realize what the other person is like. So if you talk about some of these values, you will get what the other person's point of view is with this subject. That's something that for me, the other person needs to have. I need to be with someone that is actually not homophobic or not misogynist or like someone that is a nice person. On this topic of talking about things that are important in today's world and actually talks a lot about the values of the person is, for me, James Baldwin's Geminis Room. It's a book that not many people know about, and that can work on your favor. Why? Because I think that sometimes if you talk like about books that are too known, the person might have read them and then can want to go into the details. Like for example, but what was the name of the mother of this character? Then you'll be like in trouble. So maybe if you talk about like some book that no one heard about that much, then it will be like something interesting, and by the time like the other person actually reaches for some information about the book, you will have time to read it for real. But coming back to the topic, because I'm like going off rail, it's Geminis Room. Geminis Room is the story of this guy, and I think it's the 70s, or let me double check. I'm sorry, I take it back. It was the 50s. The main character that is called David, he moves to Paris, and then he meets this guy that is called Giovanni. David has a girlfriend back home, and they stay in touch, writing to each other. But then he meets Giovanni, and basically his whole conception about love and like what he wants from life is totally changed from that moment, because he thinks that what he feels about this person is something that he never experienced before. So he thinks that he has to hide all these emotions just because he won't be accepted. It's a topic that it's very controversial because of the timing that it was written, but style of the writing, it's very beautiful. Each word seems to be there for a reason. This book is going to make you cry for sure. Coming back to the date situation, it will be a great conversation starter. It will be your opportunity to check what the other person thinks about how we approach our feelings. How would you? I would talk about this one because it will make you look smart, like a person that is actually interested in another people's wellness. So then after this, after mentioning any of these books, you can carry on with another conversation. You can start like different type of topics. If the other person doesn't follow, you can just like stand up and leave. Just ask for the bill and just leave that place. If not, I hope that you have a great date with this person. And if you do, just please put it in the comment, because I would love to hear or to read what your experiences are. If you have any other suggestions on books that you think that they would be good to talk about on a day, just put it in the comments down below, because I would love to read it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, just like push the notification button, just follow me, share this video, and all these things that you can do so the channel keeps on growing. I will see you next week with another video. Have a good day. Bye bye. Mwah.